Yep, that'll do it. God, there's nothing that ruins my mood like a bad hair day, but here's why. What's good, everybody? I asked my community what they thought the cause of their consistently bad hair days was, and we've got quite the list that we're gonna go through in today's video. If you are not part of my community and you don't know me, hi, I am your main girl Mel. I'm a professional hairstylist who loves creating content on this channel to help you specifically accept, understand, manage, and learn to love your naturally curly hair. I'm always taking video requests to help you figure out your hairs. And so if you have any comments, concerns, conundrums, or questions, leave them in the comment sections and subscribe so you can see the next videos. But for this video, we're gonna go through, well, it was supposed to be 15 more reasons why you keep having bad hair days. A part 2 to an older video I have done, which you should see here if you're new. But after asking you your issues, I fear we are deeper than I had expected. So without further ado, let's go through some more reasons why you keep having bad hair days. Before I go through some of my very self-aware community's responses, these are my diagnoses, okay, C's? Number 1, you don't have a scalp care routine. It's actually quite simple. Your hair is growing from your scalp, and if your scalp's not healthy, your hair is not going to be healthy, or at least it's not going to look its best. If you have a skincare routine, which I hope you do, you should also have a scalp care routine, which includes at the bare minimum, regular cleansing at least once a week, exfoliating, especially since if your hair is curly, the odds of you doing your hair every single day or brushing it every day are slim to none. Believe me when I say that your scalp will appreciate the assistance at sloughing off all of that excess skin and cells that have nowhere to go because they're trapped underneath all your curls. Either exfoliating with a tool or exfoliating with a scrub, shampoo, some sort of product, maybe just your nails, anything will do. I'm kidding, don't. That's disgusting. Don't. That's a lot of information. Too much information for me to include in this video, so I will link a scalp care routine and scalp care information video either up here or in the description box below. That's where you will find more resources and perhaps product recommendations that I have linked in my Amazon storefront or on my website. Reason number 2 is you don't shampoo your ends. It's gotten around that shampoos for your scalp, conditioners for your ends, and while this is true, sometimes you do need to shampoo your ends to cleanse the buildup from there. Otherwise, there's a lot of buildup on your strands that are preventing moisture from getting in, preventing your products from working well. Your hair may be really dull, dry, frizzy, because while you're cleansing your scalp, you're not properly shampooing your ends either. They definitely don't need to be cleansed as often as your scalp, but I would say at least once a month, depending on the types of products that you use, if they're very lightweight, if they tend to cause a little bit more buildup, whatever the case may be. During your monthly reset at the beginning of the month, try to incorporate a thorough detox cleanse that strips everything from roots to ends. And no, that doesn't just have to be at the first of the month. Perhaps this is right before you get your next color done. If you are someone that color treats your hair like I do, before a color touch-up is the best time to do a really deep, clarifying, chelating cleanse to remove it all, baby. Not just product buildup, but minerals in your water too. Because number 3, another reason may be that you have hard water. How hard your water is depends on the amount of mineral content in the water. It varies all over the world. You can easily find out if you live in a hard water area or soft water area by doing a little Google search, water hardness where I live. And it's worth knowing this information because hard water can create, you guessed it, buildup on your hair. Buildup is 99.9% of the problems that we have. All right, we can just end the video here. I wish, but I fear there is more to be scared. Okay, but really buildup and especially hard water, because those minerals, that calcium, it creates a barrier over your hair that can prevent that water from entering, as well as any products that you are applying. So you're not getting the benefit from your products. Talk about product wastage. And you're also not going to get the bounce that you may want from your hair. Telltale signs that you have hard water is your hair is very weighed down. Your scalp may also be irritated, / you may have skin issues, maybe a little acne you're dealing with, because these minerals don't just clog up your strands, but also your scalp and your skin. And over time, they make the hair feel extremely dry, brittle, look dull, It affects your color as well. So negativity aside, some solutions to this problem is number one, if possible, investing in a soft water filter. A water softener will help to remove a lot of this calcium and magnesium buildup that is in our water. And it literally feels softer on the hair and skin. It's called soft water for a reason. But sometimes these filters can be quite pricey, especially if you're looking for an all-over house water softener. So the next best thing would be a shower head filter. They're not a perfect solution, but I've had one for a long time and I definitely find it helps. And if you can't get your hand on one of those, then investing in a shampoo that helps to remove and cleanse these minerals will at least stay on top of the problem to prevent the buildup. And yes, I do have recommendations. I said I'll put them in the description box, but we're rapid firing through these problems. So on to number 4. When it comes to your products, you actually just have no idea how much to use. One day you use far too much and your hair is super weighed down. The next day you don't use enough and your hair is frizzy, the curls are inconsistent, you got some curls that look good, then over here you completely missed a section. If you don't know how much product to use, you need to try out my very simple measuring system. We use our fingers to gather our hair. Don't look at my armpits. Okay, roll a previous clip. We use our fingers to gather our hair, and based on our hair's density, we know how much product to apply. If you have a low density of hair and very fine hair, you may be able to hold all of your hair in a very small little ponytail, which is a good indicator that you really just need a touch, just not much. You may also need a fistful if your hair is extremely long and very thick. I call this measuring system my rule of thumb tip, and it really does help, at least to get started. It's not to be taken too literally, it really is a rule of thumb. So try it out, and worst case scenario, start slow because you can always add more product. It's harder to remove. And just as a tip, a good sign that I can tell on my curly hair if I've applied enough product is if I can feel it through my hair. It's not like there's overloads of product, it's dripping from my hair, but I can feel it. And if I gather my hair and give it a twist, I can see it popping out just a little bit. If I can see it, I can believe it. Those are the signs I have applied just enough, especially when it comes to like a leave-in or a cream styler product. Which leads me to number 5. And if you want to know more information about how much product to apply, again, I do have a full video on that you can watch. P.S. For majority of these topics, I have full-on videos or even playlists that you can refer to. So I'll have them linked in the cards above as I'm speaking for you to learn more. But we're gonna rapid fire through this list so you can just check it and see if that is why you're wrecking it. I reckon there's gonna be a few of these that are on your list. Number 5, if you're not using the right products for your hair texture, okay, texture has to do with the size of your hair strands. So that very fine hair is referred to as thin hair. It often feels very, very soft, is very weighed down very easily. And up close under a microscope, it also is very lacking. It lacks in protein as well as cuticles. This makes the hair very high porosity and it makes the hair very sensitive to moisture. Applying way too much moisture on hair that is fine is only going to leave you weighed down, flat, perhaps very greasy, very fast. And in fact, you may not need any type of a cream for your hair. One of the biggest misconceptions in curly hair is that we need conditioning, because yes, a big portion of us do deal with very dry hair, right? We grew up extremely frizzy because we didn't know that we really needed to be conditioning like we did need to be. And while deep conditioning can be helpful, it's not necessary. And leave-in conditioning, a little leave-on conditioner, it's not always necessary either. That does not mean skipping a primer or a heat protectant if you are heat styling. We definitely need that, but it's about looking at the consistency of the products. Is it milky and creamy, or is it lightweight and watery? Is it coming out of a tube like a lotion, or is there a spray applicator? The sprays are gonna be a lot lighter. Just to, lightly touch on this topic, there's obviously a lot that goes into finding the right product for your hair texture, but on the opposite side of the spectrum, from fine to coarse hair is the very thick strands. These strands are usually resistant to products, not just products, but even water, because they tend to have more cuticle layers. unless it's severely damaged, which sometimes damaging your coarse hair just a little bit can be helpful. But I'm not going there right now, staying on topic. Coarse, very resistant hair will benefit from products with a very high moisture, high humectant ingredients. Humectants to help draw moisture into the strands, which again, they kind of want to block out. And then using a good sealant on top of that. Now it's funny, coarse hair, I mean, it's literally heavier. So if it's long, it does weigh itself down. But if it's short and coarse, that hair grows right out of the scalp. Sometimes you need to physically weigh it down yourself. And that's when using heavier products can be helpful. A thicker cream, a heavy gel, strong hold. The level of hold you people are using is what's sabotaging you. So number 6. If you're not getting a cast is what we call that shell, that crunch that your hair gets when you use certain products like gel, like a hair mousse, a custard, a pomade, a hairspray. That crunchy shell that your hair gets that you may think you hate is actually your best friend and you need to become mates, okay? Now, if you're struggling to even achieve a cast, if you are friendless, well, you got a friend in me. Here, you got a friend in me. You may be struggling with achieving a cast, with acquiring the crunch, because you are using too much of a cream. If you have a lot of oily products underneath the gel, it can prevent the polymers in the gel, which help create that cast and give the shape to the curl, to actually set properly. So this is kind of a whole other issue, but using products that don't mix, or worse, mixing products instead of layering, or even just layering too many products could all very well be your issue. Besides setting your hair up with a good foundation of moisture and slip for while you're styling, from a nice little bit of a leave-in conditioner or a cream, emphasis on the little bit, the number one product that you should be focusing on and utilizing is in fact a hair gel or a mousse, because these are going to be your setting products. So if anything, you want to apply more of those and less of your creams. You also want to make sure you're actually using enough product, because you may be diluting it too much. It is a very good idea to style with the hair quite wet. You want a thorough wetness from root to tip, not necessarily sopping, dripping, like soaked all over the place, because in that situation, you're just gonna water down your gel far too much, which could dilute all the benefits and prevent it from setting. So, quick recap, if you're not getting a cast, which alone causes several different issues, try using less water so you don't dilute the product. Use less creams or anything too oily underneath your gel so it allows it to set, and also allow it to actually set. You need to dry the hair completely to allow the polymers to take shape and give your hair that longevity and that memory, so it lasts not just a day, but throughout the week. Drying the hair is very key, but we'll get to that in a minute, shall we? The next stage of styling would actually be sectioning. If you're not sectioning your hair when you're applying your products, when you're defining your curls, if you're just whipping it around and you're just treating your whole head as one entity, then I'm really sorry for thee. I am sorry for the sections of curls on your head that never get the love and attention that they deserve. Yeah, the back of your head that you think is none of your business, it's now mine, okay? Let's be a little more mindful of every corner of our scalp and section the hair when we are, applying your products would be great. That way, you know, every strand gets the love. Just don't be too heavy. And number 2, when you're defining the curls, my quickest method of sectioning and defining the curls is taking the top, like horseshoe section of your head in one clip and the whole temple down, recession area down area of your head for the second section. That way you can work the underneath and the sides one way and style the top another way. Because realistically, the sides and back are growing out of your head this way, the top is growing out this way, and you want to treat how the hair is growing out of your scalp a little bit differently. That's what we do when a hairdresser is cutting or coloring, and it's definitely what I recommend when you are styling. Although I will say, ever since I cut my bob almost a year ago, my sectioning has varied a little bit because my hair is a lot shorter. I now break it up into 4 sections: my bangs, my sides, and then the back. But in a pinch, short on time, the horseshoe works every time. And it is fast, okay? Don't be lazy. Number 7, we could say, but I won't call you lazy. I don't have to, because so many of you are self-aware enough to know that it's you. Hi, you're the problem yourself. It's us. Why are we like this? Next, number 8 gets a little bit nitpicky. Maybe, but it's because I care for thee, okay? While you're working on number 7, your sections, I usually work from the bottom to the top. As you're spending time down here, the hair that's clipped up here is getting a little drier. And if you don't re-wet this section just a little bit, at least with your spray bottle, or I like to just run my hairbrush under the tap and give it a little swipe through. That is if I don't have my spray bottle with me. Because if I don't do that, then the top is gonna come out like crap, okay? You wanna keep the hair evenly wet. So re-wet that top section when you get to it. We recently put out a video on this channel talking about my 10 must-have curly hair products. Like, we're talking a curly hair essentials starter kit, and I compared today's picks to a 5-year-old list, and I forgot to mention that a spray bottle is absolutely on it. Don't sleep on the mister, and spray up there. Okay. Now, number 9, this may open up your eyes. No one perhaps told you how you should properly scrunch your hair. You know, the thing we see everyone with curly hair do when it's wet, you give it a little scrunch. It helps to activate the curls. Well, sometimes you're being a little too active when you're activating. Sometimes you're just too aggressively scrunching, and you want to do it very strategically. Some people find it beneficial to scrunch every single section while they're styling. Some just do all the scrunching at the very end, maybe while they are applying a gel or a mousse perhaps. But when you're scrunching, I like to go slow and scoop the hair so that the spirals lay into the hand very comfortably, and then squishing at the root. And I pulse the hand like this. When you pulse your hand, you should hear a squish. That squish is going to help to marry all of your products together. And if you're not hearing that squish, then your hair needs to be wetter. But the thing is, some of you, not I, have very long hair, perhaps down to your thighs. And when you scrunch, like there's so much, right? You may be enhancing your ends, but your roots could be very weighed down, perhaps very stretched, not as bouncy and curly. So don't be shy to lift and scrunch the root section as well, kind of on its own without the ends in your handful. That way you're helping to activate the curls all throughout your strands from roots to tips. But this is one of those tips that maybe isn't necessary. It doesn't apply to everybody. Scrunching can be great to help enhance and wake up the curls. It can help to encourage shrinkage, and this may not be necessary if you have a tighter texture in the 4 type category. And on the contrary, there are type 2 wavies that don't do any scrunching, and they love the results just like that. Honestly, you need to have fun with trying new things to see what works best for you. But if you have just been aggressively, haphazardly scrunching, then try to do it a little more strategically. And let's move on to number 10. I have found my way back to diffusing. I mentioned when we were talking about the hair cast issues that if you're not allowing the hair to dry, the cast is not going to properly set. This is why diffusing is so important. It allows you to have so much more control over your style as opposed to air drying. When you're air drying, your hair is going to take exponentially longer to dry, and it also puts it at risk of coming into contact with things that could completely ruin your entire wash day and week. So by diffusing, we can allow our products to set properly and save us time. But you also want to be scrunching with that diffuser properly. So many years ago, I popularized the method of diffusing, which just involved hovering over your hair to simulate the effect of air drying so that you didn't have to spend all day like a wet dog, but you also weren't manipulating the curls and maybe enhancing shrinkage, which at the time a lot of people did not like. But if you are on the side of wanting a lot of volume, a lot of bounce to your curls, and you are scrunching with the diffuser, which is how we traditionally would be using that attachment, it's how we know to use it. Just like scrunching with our hands, you don't want to just rush it and do it haphazardly. You want to do it very slowly to set the curls in the bowl comfortably and hold before releasing. I'm sweating. It's getting hot in here. Shit! I need to fit, my ass is sweating. Isn't that hilarious? Just the thought of diffusing started to make me sweat. No tachi. This is a number 10, part 2. That is also your issue if you're not acquiring a cast. If you touch your hair too much while it's setting, you're preventing it from setting. Those polymers in your products need to be left alone to do their thing properly. But if while you're drying, you keep touching your hair and scrunching it out, you're not allowing them to set. And that could also give you problems later in the week when your hair just doesn't last you. So that's another reason why we want to diffuse. It'll help prevent you from touching your hair too much before it's dry, so you can get your hair fully dry and then you can touch it, just a touch. Or else, let's move on to number 11. And remember, you can't have two number 1s because that'll equal 11. The real number 11, humidity. Humidity will be the death of we. If our products don't properly set because we did not dry them and allow them to, then you don't have the proper defense to lock out things like the elements such as humidity, the moisture in the air, which causes havoc, frizz on our hair. Sometimes welcomed, sometimes for volume, but humidity, like 9.5 times out of 10, really sucks the life out of everything. And humidity is like everyone's problem, but especially if you have high porosity, color treated, damaged, fine hair, any of these varieties. And what we need is to properly be finishing. Finishing is at the very end of a routine when we lock everything in. It's when after you've created that cast, you can soften it out a little bit with a hair oil, or even better, a silicone loaded serum to help create a further barrier to help lock out humidity, and or furthering that hair cast with a hairspray that will also help keep your hair in its shape so that the style lasts throughout humidity. And I know if you notice, as we go through this list, I'm only bringing up more and more products, but products are what keeps your hairstyle styling. If you just want hair, then you don't have to use anything in there. But if you want your hair to look good styled, then you need to actually use stylers. You need to apply product. And applying product does result in the hair feeling product-y. Like, you know, sometimes you can feel that product in there, but sometimes that's just an L that we have to take. It's just something that we have to do in the name of being fashionably hair, in the name of looking pretty. You look pretty regardless, but if you want to look like really put together, you got to put the product on. And when you're going in humidity, you want to load that product on, specifically the hard hold gels, the silicone serums, and the hairspray. They will help thee. Help thee or healthy. Number 12, if you are working out, okay, getting healthy, but you find that it's really ruining your hair, my best workout hair tip would be to tie your hair back for the workout. You can pull the hair up a little snug, especially if you get super sweaty, because while the hair is pulled up, your sweat will come dripping and it won't touch the hair too much. It'll just come down your face, and then you can dry your face, and then immediately after the workout, while the hair is still wet down from sweat, let it out so that the curls can come back. Now, are the roots going to be frizzy from the humidity literally emitting off of you? Perhaps. There are products that you can use to refresh this. There are refreshing sprays. You could use a little extra mousse, a little extra gel, or you could prevent all of this from happening and try out an antiperspirant on your scalp. I've personally not used these products, but I have gotten quite a few comments, requests, and also recommendations from my audience for scalp sweat products. They exist. They're on Amazon. If you have used one, please sound off in the comment section. Also, I'm not going to say that it's necessary for everybody, but if you are someone that suffers from hyperhidrosis / AKA you're an extreme sweater, then that could be something that you may want to look into. But whatever you do, let your hair down from that little workout style right after the workout while the hair is still damp so that the curls can reform and then you don't have those stretched roots with the curly ends. Call it a little sweat fresh. Now, on the topic of bodily fluids, our hormones, not quite fluids, but they do, still kind of related. Our hormones can absolutely be the cause of a bad hair day. Now, this is not specifically studied, but if you have a period, you may notice your hair changes throughout your menstrual cycle. As a hairstylist, we notice this sometimes when we apply color during certain times of the month, like when you're in your luteal phase, that week leading up to your period, your body temperature is higher, your color could develop faster. Not just that, it's when we feel like we look like a disaster. It's that kind of ugly week before a period when we just don't feel like ourselves. We find the hair also isn't styling right. There's no proof to it, but there is truth to it that our hormones do affect how our hair is acting and growing as we get older and our menstrual cycle matures from a menstrual cycle into perimenopause, menopause, even back it up, during pregnancy. These hormone changes can affect how our hair is growing or how our scalp is producing oil. It's not you. You're not going crazy. Your body is sabotaging thee. Yeah, just give a pat on the back. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, really? Really? My earring. What the fuck? I just smacked my earring out of my scalp. Do I need help? Do I have a case against myself, my own hands? That's a sign not to catch them, okay? Try me! Where did my backing go? Oh, I found it. Yay. Continue plowing through here. We only have a couple more. We talked about our hormones. We talked about your workouts, sweaty scalp, and I did touch on this, but your laziness. Yeah, that's gotta go. No, we are definitely, I think the industry has gone a little too far. Like, the overconsumption core is, like, there is a line, and I do feel as if we have crossed it. Sometimes we go far too far with our hair routine. We tried way too many things. Again, we use way too many products. And when we just go back to the basics, maybe you won't feel as overwhelmed and hopefully less lazy. So you can at least do the bare minimum. Okay, laziness is going to be your issue. You really just need to strip it down to the basics. Shampoo, conditioner, a primer, whatever kind of leave-in conditioner, heat protectant, spray, cream, whatever's gonna work for thee and your hair type, okay? A setting styler, mousse, gel, whatever you desire. And then hopefully finishing the hair doesn't have to be that hard. If your products are just not working like they used to, that was a comment that I saw come up a bit, you need to remember that your hair changes. Again, hormones, but also color, the seasons, moving cities. These are all changes that affect our hair. And when our hair is changing, our products need to change too. I can't necessarily use the exact hair routine I was using 10 years ago. What used to be tried and true got the boot. But before you throw out those products that were working for you but aren't working for you anymore, refer back to tip number 1, or was it 2? 1/2. And use a shampoo to really get through all the layers of perhaps build up an old product that's on your hair. It could work absolute wonders. And then if it's not your products, if it's not your water, it's time to reevaluate your hair texture, considering the weather. Is it humid? Is it dry? I'm starting to sound like a broken record because I already talked about all this throughout this quite lengthy list. The only thing we haven't touched on here, I fear, is that if nothing else is working, what you probably need is a haircut. Simple as that. Dead, unhealthy hair will not style well. Those long, straggly ends aren't doing you a single favor. They're weighing you down. And a haircut, the right haircut, it's gonna do it every single time. Really. Not just the right haircut for your curls, I'm talking dry versus wet, but even the right haircut for your face shape. When you find your style, like I believe I have found here today, you're never gonna have a bad hair day. I never have. When Okay, obviously I have bad hair days, but it's usually if I got really lazy or didn't protect myself from humidity or had a really sweaty workout and did extracurricular activities. And I don't let myself get down those days because it just means that I was living, breathing, sometimes just surviving. But I digress. My hair always looks like it's thriving because it's never dying. I cut it so often. That being said, for even more problems, do check out my older video where I made the first 15 reasons why you keep having bad hair days video. It was truly about time that we finally made this part 2. And again, I'm happy to make whatever other videos for you. So do leave me your requests in the comment section below and make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss a video. We post new content on this channel each and every week. That is me plus my sister Amanda, who you also see a lot on this channel, who also has her own channel. If you're not subscribed over on Amanda's channel, go subscribe to her. And I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I literally love you so much, and I have a lot of faith in you after watching this video. Go, put everything you've learned into practice, and I'll see your curls next time. Peace. Hello, hello. Oh, why am I so small? Ugh. There we go. Why do I look like I'm ready to fight a wrestling match? Because I could. I could fight all the bad hair days we keep having. Am I right? You know what I mean? I'll take one for the team. Team Canada. Olympics, anybody? I actually am not allowed to watch the Olympics because I cry every time. It's very emotional. Just knowing that I could literally never do any of that. No, but sometimes it hurts to be an empath. Yeah. 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 No! The light expired, which means my time is done here. Come back for part 2 for the, no, damn it! Let me just grab the light. You know, this is what happens when I try to film before 12 a.m. Here we are. Yes, yes, my friends, we're back. Back in action. Beep, 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 beep. Not getting my steps in lately. I'm not a perfect person. I'm sweating, I'm actively sweating. Okay, Amanda, stop texting. Okay, where was I? You got a friend of me.